Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bleach arc reviews. Today we're going to be going over Turn Back the Pendulum, which is the Detour backstory arc for the Visors, or primarily the Visors. It's about how they all got their Rancor, or Hollow Masks, and why they're not in Soul Society anymore, but it's also the backstory for other characters like Urahara and Yoriichi, and we also learn a lot more about Aizen's whole plot and just how far back it's going. And I have to say, I really, really enjoyed Turn Back the Pendulum. I don't know if anyone else thought this way about it, but I think it's like probably one of the better arcs in terms of writing. I think it does a very good job once you get like a quarter of the way into it and you realize, hold on a second, these guys aren't in Soul Society in the present. Oh wait, this is when bad things happen. And then through like the rest of the arc, you just have this building sense of dread of seeing just what's going to happen, and that's aided when oh, why am I forgetting his name? But short-haired guy with the knife, Kensei. That's who it is. Kensei, when him and his squad are looking around because some of the, what are they called? The Rukongai? Like the peasant souls are going missing. I think that was all really well done. I never hear many people talk about Turn Back the Pendulum, but I just thought it was really good. So it was very interesting to see how the Visors came to be about. What I also thought was one of the best parts of the arc was pretty much just getting to see Aizen do his thing. It was really interesting to see just how far back his whole plan with the Hogyoku went. And he had a lot of great moments. It seems like almost every time Aizen shows up, he has some kind of iconic moment. And I thought the way that he was talking down to his own captain about why Shinji never realized or could never figure out what Aizen's plan was, and he said it was because you didn't trust me and you never allowed me to get close enough to you for you to really understand me, and maybe if you did, you would have realized what I was doing. I thought that was just so great. I just thought that was a really interesting twist, because normally the treasonous character gets away with their plot because the good guy lets them get too close to them. So it was very interesting to see that sort of flipped on its head there. And of course, we also got to see the past versions of Gin and Kaname, which just goes to show that they were in on it from the start. You kind of figured Gin was in on it from the start, but with Kaname, it was never really clear when exactly he got involved in it. And that was really interesting. I'd say just in general, it was very interesting to see all the past versions of these characters. Like, we got to see young Byakuya interacting with Yoriichi, which was pretty funny. We got to see Mayuri's backstory, how he came into the research division with Urahara. We got to find out why Urahara is not in Soul Society anymore, along with Yoriichi and stuff like that. As well as some past versions of the people who are still in Soul Society, and I just thought that was really interesting. I know a criticism of Bleach is that the world is not very detailed. When you look at other series like, I think the big one is One Piece, well, that's kind of like, no, not many other series would ever reach the world building of One Piece, from what I understand, especially not when you have like almost 1,000 chapters to work with. But Bleach was pretty much always about the characters and fighting, and it was never very much about the world itself. So just getting to see the characters and how they all interacted in the past was very interesting, because we don't really get to see a lot of that. Another thing was getting to see the interactions between other characters that you would have never really thought about, like Urahara and Hinamori. Hinamori? No. Yes, Hinamori. I think that was Shinji's sister's name. That was interesting, and like, getting to see Urahara interact with Mayuri. and other stuff like Shunsui and Lisa. That was interesting. Yeah, stuff like that. It was all pretty good. It helped flesh out the characters. Another thing is that I think this was the first teasing of the Zero Division, which was just like a neat thing to include. Of course, I've already finished the series by now, so I already know what happens with the Zero Division, but we'll get into that when the time comes. As I mentioned earlier, this is a pretty short arc. I don't know how it was released, like if it was released weekly, or if it was like something tagged onto chapters, because the numbering of the chapters was kind of weird. It was like a negative and it kept counting down. So I have no idea when it was released, especially since some of the chapters were kind of long. Was it like its own volume that was released? I don't know. The only sort of complaint I could say I have about the arc was how we have Urahara and Yoruichi. They know that Aizen, Gin, and Kaname are all evil. And yet, when they're sending Ichigo and his friends to Soul Society, they're never like, hey, Ichigo, watch out for these guys. They've got, like, some evil plot going on. Like, he never does that, and I don't think it's ever explained why. I mean, I may have forgotten, but it seems like a little bit of an oversight. You would think that Urahara, having been exiled from the Soul Society, would have at least been like, hey, you're going back there. You should know about this. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of weird. But yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about the Turn Back the Pendulum arc. Next week, I'm going to be going over Fake Karakura, which is, of course, another one of the legendary arcs from Bleach, and I've decided that I am going to do Deicide as a separate arc. I just think that would sort of work as its own thing, since it's sort of the end of the Aizen part of the series, so you can expect that the week after next week. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm doing Bleach arc reviews every week, and if you enjoy discussing Bleach with other people, you should check out my Discord server. I'll have a link in the description. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Kengan Omega, you should check out my channel for those, and also take a look at my Discord. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.